Rams fans, welcome in on this edition of Rams Showcase. Are we falling apart? Plus, a look at who the Rams could play in the NFC playoffs and later final regular season game and need to get it right. We preview Cardinals at Rams. Let's rock.
We here, man. You gotta take advantage of victory on one way. Let's go.
Welcome to Rams Showcase. And now, your host, Sheriff Joe Bags.
Yes, welcome to it, Rams Showcase. My name's Sheriff Joe Bags. Shout out Rams House, bring me in there with help on the intro. If you want to be part of those, by the way, one of those, hit me up. We could absolutely make that happen, man. It's good times, good times. Socials, where you can follow along on that channel. Absolutely incredible stuff. Go ahead and check him out. Partnered up with KO Time. They do First Down Rams every week. Great Rams content. Absolutely love that show. Good stuff there. Make sure you follow myself on socials, at Ram Showcase, at Sheriff Joe Bags, ramshowcase.com. That's where you can follow along. Also do a 3-time-a-week live show with Tuna of the First and Tuna podcast. That's called Tuna and the Sheriff. That's where you can find it on the First Tuna podcast YouTube channel, as well as the Ram Showcase Facebook page. That's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 a.m. LA time. We are live talking Rams football. Not sure what the regular season schedule will look like for that when we get there, but we kind of were like one episode a week before this season, and then we started doing the 3. So we'll talk about what we're going to do once this season ends. But make sure you join us here because we're about to be getting into playoff preview stuff, which is very, very exciting. So obviously the Rams are getting there. We know that much. But we'll need to settle it down a little bit and make sure that we are going into the playoffs strong. We'll get into that full game preview. The Rams hosting the Arizona Cardinals at SoFi Stadium this Sunday on Fox, but we'll talk about that game here in a moment. First, I want to go over some news stuff as well as just a quick, conversation, a little bit of an explanation of my mindset personally, as we are off of 2 straight losses going into week 18, but with division not in reach, playoffs already clinched, 3rd place in our own division right now with 11 wins. That's absolutely insane. It's never happened in the history of the NFL where 3 teams in one division got to 12 wins, which is something that we could see this weekend, which is absolutely absurd. So I think ultimately that's it. Is just, are we okay? Are we doing all right as the Rams, as a unit? Are we comfortable going into the playoffs like we can win a football game? I think that ultimately the Rams are coming in, like I said, off of 2 straight losses. And there was a moment there like between about 9:48 in the 4th quarter and about 5:06 in the 3rd quarter from the Seahawks game all the way to the Falcons game. The Rams were outscored by, I think it was 38 points. It was 35 or 38 points, which is too much. Way too much. All right, we can't be giving up those kind of points. The 2-point conversions that the Seahawks were able to get, and then the Falcons just were ready to play. Didn't seem like the Rams were necessarily, but I think ultimately the reason that my brain isn't going to just like, oh, we're done, we're cooked, we're done, it's over. We've lost 2 straight. How are you supposed to recover from that? Well, first of all, it's because you clinched the playoffs before that even happened. So that's a good start. That it makes sense that once you clinch the playoffs that, maybe whether it's not even intentional, that you kind of internally kind of pull back just a little bit. So that's the goal. That was the goal the whole season. Going into week 1, week 2, week 3, all that, the whole goal was just what can we do in the playoffs? So it does make sense to me that once you clinch the playoffs, even though it would be better to have home field advantage, have a bye week, all that stuff, that once you get there, knowing that that is your only goal is to win it all this year, it makes sense that it's like, okay, we're in. Now we're okay. Now let's just get there kind of thing. That's kind of where my brain is at. And we're also looking at an NFC playoff picture right now that features a situation where a team could either be the 1 seed or the 6 seed. Packers are locked in at 7, so they're not going to move. But we could go from 1 to 6. We could see a team do that. That's crazy, right? Those are what they're fighting for right now in this disaster. There's 3 teams still fighting for the number 1 seed in the NFC playoff picture. There's 3 teams fighting for the number 1 seed in the AFC playoff picture. But we're in the NFC, so that's what we're worried about. And I think that that's ultimately where my brain's at, is we're an 11-win team. We're still one of the best football teams in the NFL. And losing 2 games late in the season after clinching the playoffs by a total of 4 points just isn't going to take me fully out of it. And I know that some people hate to hear that. Some people don't. They want me to be more mad about it. And look, if you're looking for me to get angry and rant about the Rams and how bad they're doing, this is not the show for you. And there are other shows that will cater to what you're looking for here. But my brain is going off of we just lost to the team that is currently sitting in the number one seed in the NFC playoff picture. We lost to them by 1 point in their house in overtime in weather on a short week. And then we came in against an Atlanta Falcons team, which let's not pretend like they're the worst football team in the league or anything like that. They're out there winning some football games, but we're also dealing with a situation in Atlanta where they're all fighting for their jobs and their lives out there. They all are. Kirk Cousins absolutely fighting for his job and potential future. Raheem Morris 1,000% fighting for his job and his future right now. So it makes sense that they would come into play, and didn't look like the Rams did. I'll be honest, it just didn't really look like we did. Lost to an Atlanta team with more starters out than we've had all season. Devontae, AJ Jackson, Kevin Dotson. We're still missing Quentin Lake. So, I mean, we're down the most people that we have been all season too going into that game. And Rob Havenstein too, which I kind of put a little asterisk by because Warren McClendon has played so well. But they're all missing. We're missing all those guys. We're missing AJ Jackson. We're missing Kevin Dotson. We're missing Devontae Adams. We're missing Quentin Lake. And so that's kind of where my brain's at too. Is it like we're expected to get these guys back? Even Tyler Higbee's about to come back. So that's I feel calmed by the fact of like Devontae probably could have played. AJ Jackson probably could have played. Kevin Dotson, I'm not sure on, but it's certainly possible. Quentin Lake is gearing up to get back in. So that's kind of where I'm at too. Is it like we're about to get better? We're about to get our reinforcements back, even though we still have a bunch of playmakers already here. Those are all top guys on our roster right now. It's not like it's no shade intended in anybody, but it's not like we're losing a Josh Wallace and all of a sudden we're falling apart. It's like, no, like Quentin Lake, our captain, went down, and now we're having a harder time in the secondary keeping everything in order, you know? It makes perfect sense. It really does. But we're 11-5 right now, and let's not forget that 11-5 is a really good record. That is a really good record. It just so happens that the Rams are in a division right now that currently has a 12 and a 13 win team, each of who the Rams have split with. I think that's important to remember as well, that we've split with both of the teams that we are playing against. And the two losses against both of those teams, the San Francisco 49ers and Seattle Seahawks, came in overtime, which means that we were one play away from taking that at any point. So I think it's important to remember that as well, that we are a good football team. And even against good football teams, it's taking them extra time to be able to knock us out. And then they didn't in another game. So we're doing just fine. 39 wins between the three of us right now. That is absolutely insane. There is no shame in being third place in that division, especially when all of your wins are coming by barely any points at all. Our biggest loss would be the Philadelphia Eagles, an 8-point loss, but they scored 6 on the final play when we were trying to take the lead. So that could have been a 1-point win. Instead turns into an 8-point loss. Every game has had those moments where it's like, man. And then even against Atlanta, you have a situation where on that final drive, you have 4 different huge plays that the Rams didn't get. 4 huge plays that the Rams didn't get. That the DJ Humphries did not have a good game, but at left tackle, that was not a holding call on the touchdown to Puka. Puka's almost the best non-catch I've ever seen in my whole life. One-handing that bad boy on the sideline, getting his feet down, and then the defender barely knocking it out. Crazy. Tutu Atwell, obviously, that's a tough situation to want to get a pass interference call. The chances are they're probably not going to call that, but it was there. And then you also have Matthew Stafford missing Xavier Smith on that deep ball, which probably was a touchdown. So we had 4 plays on that one drive that could have flipped that around, and then we're winners of that game. And then the conversation is dramatically different when 4 different plays didn't go our way. That's okay. I don't know about you, but that's okay. And I don't think that that's a trend that's like, oh, well, those didn't go our way, so it's not going to go our way. I don't believe that. I feel like you can break trends, absolutely. So we were rotating our starters pretty heavy too, and I understand that I went through and looked at the snap counts, and it looked like we were rotating heavier. What actually happened was we were rotating heavier earlier. So the snap counts actually came out pretty even compared to season numbers. But early in the game, when it was, second drive, and we see Des Johnson out there with Josiah Stewart. And it's like, okay, we're doing something different right now. We're doing something and Hamilton's out there, alongside Fisk. It's like, okay, we're not putting, it's not V8, BY, Kobe Turner out there. It's the lower guys on the depth chart. And not that they're bad players at all, but just again, to kind of reiterate that we weren't doing everything we could to win the game in Atlanta. And that's also okay because we had already clinched the playoffs, like I'm saying. So Mump had his highest snap count percentage of the season. So he was getting in there more often on average for this game. We say X played his highest snap percentage of the season. Oh yeah, Mump also had his highest snap count. So it was X he's had higher snap counts, but that was his highest snap percentage. Tyler Davis easily cleared his highest snap percentage all season. Then Ty Hamilton and Des Johnson both saw 12 snaps. Overall, good spread. But again, earlier in the game, it was kind of just more guys were getting reps, especially in that first half. But the Rams just didn't have the same approach to this game is really my ultimate point to that one. But the NFC is going to have potentially 6 double-digit win teams in the playoffs if the Packers can beat the Vikings, which is an inconsequential game. Jordan Love's not playing. Vikings have been out of it for a little while. They're locked in at 7 no matter what happens. So that may or may not happen, but we could have 6 double-digit win teams in the NFC. The NFC West alone, absolutely loaded. And you can call me too optimistic. You can call me delusional. But if you want me to be mad that the Rams are 11-5 and locked in the playoffs a few weeks ago, I won't be fake mad just because you want me to. Just because we lost back-to-back games on the road, both of them road games, both in prime time by a total of 4 points. I'm just not going to be that mad about it. We locked in the playoffs a few weeks ago. We still have, in my opinion, the MVP of the NFL. I understand that the odds have changed, but we still have, in my opinion, the MVP of the NFL. We have the best wide receiver in the game right now, and then one of the best to ever do it in Devontae Adams. Our defense is absolutely loaded with monsters. Nobody who is that true superstar that can just take over the game at any given moment, but the talent is undeniable. We have the best coach this franchise has ever seen. So if you want me to be mad that we've lost 2 back-to-back road games in December by a total of 4 points, you're listening to the wrong show, man. I feel good about this team. I'm excited for the playoffs. I'm fired up for it. I'm excited for the NFL Honors Show. I feel like the Rams can do some damage there as well. I think that underrated, a sneaky good bet is the Rams getting Offensive Line of the Year. We'll see. But Matthew Stafford still in there for MVP. I'm sure that McVay may get a vote or two for Coach of the Year as well. There's just a lot of cool moving pieces here, and I think that's ultimately my point, is that there's losing in week 17 doesn't mean you're going to suck in the playoffs. All right? That's all. That's my biggest point here, is we lose 2 games. That's to good teams by a total of 4 points on the road December. You know what? It could be way worse. We could be stuck in 2009 right now with 1 win on the season going into the final week of the year, knowing that we're not going to see our team for a few more months, and then just kind of see what happens. We're just kind of chilling watching the game because there's no stress involved, except for the only thought process that we could be watching somebody play their last game as a Rams. So that's not where we're at right now. We continue playing after this week. So everybody just breathe and chill the hell out, I think, is where I'm at right now. So, and I got to think that the refs screwing us out of points will eventually go back to normal, but I'm also not a big bash the refs guy, because what's the point? They're not your full-time employees. So hard for me to get super blame the refs, but let's not ignore the rough calls we've gotten in December, I would say, but it's not for me to do anything about. You know what I mean? I sit here in Colorado in my room, talk about, how annoyed I am that we've gotten these bad calls, but that's not going to change anything. So we've got that going for us. We're going to do a quick peek at the playoff picture here. Not a lot of moving around as far as potential this week, but as we take a look at it, actually the same exact playoff picture as last week. There is no movement, no changes, no clinches that have happened in this last week or so. So Seattle sitting in the number 1 spot. They are 13-3. They're at San Fran on Saturday. They'll either get the 1 or the 5 seed, first with a loss, fifth with a win, fifth with a loss. Obviously, the Rams will know at the end of this game whether they can get the 5 or if they're locked in at 6, and the Rams need to win and have Seattle win to be able to get up to 5. Chicago sitting at 11-5. They take on Detroit out of the 1 seed contention. Oh yeah, so we are down to 2 teams in the NFC, but they are out of the 1 seed contention. But they lock in 2. They win or an Eagles loss. They host Detroit, which is certainly not a guaranteed win, but Chicago, I'm certainly will see their best. Philadelphia also 11-5. They take on Washington this week. They can get to 2 with a win and a Bears loss, but if one or both of those happened, the Eagles will be locked in at 3. Carolina Panthers 8-8. They'll take on the Tampa Bay Bucks on Saturday. Win the division and in, or you can lose and the Falcons win, and Carolina would still mess up a bunch of tiebreakers and still get in there. 2 outcomes need to happen, though, for the Panthers to miss the playoffs, which would be the Panthers and Falcons both losing. If we look at who those teams would be playing right now, Carolina would be hosting San Fran if the season ended right now, 12-4. They take on Seattle on Saturday. 1 seed with a win over Seattle, though. If the 49ers lose, they do drop to the 5th seed, but can fall to the 6th seed if the 49ers lose. And the Rams also beat the Cardinals. 1-6 is exactly why I'm not discouraged by the Rams and what they're doing. Speaking of Rams right now, if the season ended, would be taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. 11-5 right now, taking on the Cardinals. They can lock in the 5 seed, which is the preferred position with a win and a 49ers loss. They were up 30-14 against the Seahawks, and what could have been having the 1 seed clinched by now. And now we are in a spot where we're looking at hoping to get the 5. That's absolutely crazy. Again, though, I'm not discouraged because of I still think we're a really sick team who we were out most of our starters last week, and that defense was rotating pretty heavy, and I don't know, man. There's a lot of moving parts to that. But Rams will play either in Philly, most likely scenario, or in Carolina or Tampa, most likely Carolina. And it feels like we could take on either of those teams and do well, but also feels like we're due for a win in Philly, dude. So give me that one. Green Bay is 9-6-1. They are at Minnesota this weekend. They locked in at 7. They can't do better, cannot do worse. Packers are watching the Bears and Eagles, though, for their first opponent, as it will be one of those 2. Packers split with the Bears, and each team won on the road. Packers did lose to Philly in November. That was a 10-7 game, so nothing super crazy as far as the playoff picture goes. We're pretty locked in. As far as from the Rams' perspective, there's not a lot of moving and shaking for us to do, so we're just kind of paying attention to the other teams, where we're going to play, how's that all going to shake out. But not a lot of damage for us to be able to do. We may get 5. Most likely we'll slot in at 6, though. Either Chicago or Philly is going to be our first road trip, and I personally hope that it's Philly. Number 1 seed is up for grabs, and only 1 team not officially locked in yet, but we will know by Saturday whether or not Tampa Bay even has a shot to, or if they win, obviously they can get in there still. So, yeah. And we'll see who gets the number 1 seed, who's going to have a week off. Obviously, San Fran getting it is, I feel like San Fran's the worst team of the 3 in the NFC West, but I mean, the Super Bowl's at their house, and you don't want to give them the easiest path possible. So I think them being on the road, obviously, if they have to go to Carolina, that's not insane. But then after that, they would have to go to Seattle. So, well, depending on if we are Green Bay, I guess. Too many moving pieces, dude. We'll get into all that when we need to get into that. Let's see here. The news I forgot to mention here, or did not forget to mention, but we just added in late as right before I started recording about the news. Rams have signed safety Quentin Lake to a 3-year extension. This is absolutely massive news for the Rams defense and the secondary. $42 million deal with $25.7 million guaranteed. Quentin Lake was set to hit free agency, but now Captain Q will be sticking around. We have seen very much firsthand what this defense looks like without Quentin Lake in the building and taking care of business, so we are absolutely thrilled to have him back. But speaking of coming back, we're back on the football field on Sunday, this time SoFi Stadium hosting the Arizona Cardinals, taking on the Rams. We'll get into that full game preview right after this break. It's Ram Showcase. Welcome back in. This is Ram Showcase. My name's Sheriff Joe Baggs. The 11-5 Los Angeles Rams taking on the 3-13 Arizona Cardinals. SoFi Stadium, the host, 1:25 p.m. kickoff time on Fox. Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma on the call. Megan O'Leary broadcaster from the sideline. We'll be in the green zones for this one on Fox. So not a large area, but again, a pretty inconsequential game as far as the rest of the league. So we're obviously looking at slipping into the 5 seed, but realistically, we're looking at 6. 5 or 6 is our only options there. So again, pretty inconsequential there. For you bettors, -7.5 for the Rams, -350 on the money line, 45.5 over on your over-under. So, they don't think it's going to be a crazy game here, I suppose, but doing enough damage to give the Rams more than a touchdown, which we absolutely love. Let's get into our Pants Picks final version of the regular season. The game that is sweeping the nation, man. Your mom plays. I don't know why you don't. It's an absolute blast. The Rams will be rocking their royal jerseys for this game. And records on screen for you. I am 7-8. We got 8-7 for both Peo and Tuna. And then Rams House clinching the Pants Picks championship with a 10-5 record entering the week. I'll let you know now, I did select Bone. My idea was that I could get into 8-8, and then everybody else would also get a loss, and then I'd be tied for second. And instead, I'm last place alone, which is fine. And I'm not even mad about it. Not even a little bit. I'm not going to think about it for a long time. That's for sure. Because Pants Picks also is very difficult to do in the playoffs because we don't know what jersey they're going to wear. So usually it's just the regular Royal at home, white on the road. Either way, I'm not sad about it. I'm fine. I'm doing fine. I was trying to go Bone there because we may never see the Bone color again. Actually, I was thinking that this was going to be the last time. We may see it in the playoffs, though. In fairness, we could see like Bone Pants in the playoffs, but either way, Saul was correct. So we have Rams House as the Pants Picks champion with an 11-5 record. We had Tuna coming in second place, 9-7. Peo Time coming in third with an 8-8 record, and then myself in last place alone, 7-9. Dude, wait. Am I wrong here? Did I miss a week? Wait, no. Wait. Oh, yeah. No, we're right because of the rivalries game. I was like, what? These aren't even right numbers. That's so funny. I almost blew my own mind there. That's crazy. But anyway, congratulations, Rams House Pants Picks champion. Put that on your resume, dude. That's some big news. You'll probably get a couple jobs just with that alone. Let's look at the history of this matchup. This is the 96th all-time meeting. The 100th will be the second meeting of 2027. Unless, of course, we meet in the playoffs before, but come on. Rams have won the last 2. Rams won 15 of the last 18 versus the Cardinals. That is all under McVay. The last game between these two came earlier last month, technically, as date of recording, December 7th, 45-17 win by the Rams. We had, was it Michael? Oh, I'm forgetting his name. I remember his first name, which is cool. He scored the first and last touchdown on us in that game. But Rams-Cardinals series dates back all the way to 1937. It was the Rams' 4th ever game, taking on the Chicago Cardinals at League Park in Cleveland. The part that got me about this, as I'm just kind of like looking through this game, looking at the numbers and all that stuff, 10,000 people in attendance. Over 10,000. In 1937 in Cleveland versus Chicago. I don't know why. I don't even know if that's crazy. But it feels crazy to me. In my brain, I feel like 10,000 people existed in 1937. They were all at the Rams game? I know it's not true, but like it still like really messes with my head. You know what I mean? A few things that we're looking for in this game. Obviously, the Rams are really just trying to find a rhythm here. We need to just kind of settle some people down. Looks like Matthew Stafford's been a little more antsy and stuff like that. So even like the no looks and stuff like that is kind of nothing seems right now. So I think just some calming down, getting back into a rhythm. We just needed a get right game. And, it wasn't that long ago that we needed a get right game. And look who was there, sitting on our schedule, ready to help us get ready for the future. The Arizona Cardinals. And coming into that game, obviously we were just really needing something positive to happen. And then we absolutely destroyed their souls, which was awesome. So coming off of 2 losses, you get the Arizona Cardinals on your roster, on your schedule again, right before you head into the playoffs. This is the perfect little situation here, man. And I'm just saying. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. McVay also said the starters will play this game because, quote unquote, we need to play better. And couldn't agree more. I don't know if this is going to be one of those situations where at halftime we come out and see Jimmy the rest of the day, Ronnie Rivers and Mump getting a bunch of action and stuff like that. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but it does feel realistic. It does feel like it's going to be a thing that the coaches know that, but they're going to like tell all the players, at least all the starters, like, hey, you're playing the whole game, so be ready. And then at halftime, like, all right, you're good. Feels like one of those. But it also makes perfect sense that Matthew Stafford could ruin some more MVP conversations this week. Although I really do, and I know that there's a lot of conversation right now of like May getting it over Stafford getting it still based on his whole season and all that stuff. I think that, and this is just my personal opinion, and I may be way wrong here. I think that a lot of people are going Matthew Stafford. I already think that. I think that just be like you can have a bad day in December, Drake May, and still be fine, Drake May. And so we talked about that on Tuna and the Sheriff. Like, it's not like Drake May hasn't had some stinkers of games, man. So I think Matthew Stafford's allowed to, and I trust that the people that have votes will do their due diligence, and they'll look back and they'll look at the whole season. They'll take the whole thing as an encompassing thing and properly distribute the MVP award. I really do think that. I think that Drake May is going to get plenty of votes, but I think that for the large majority, I think that he's okay. I think that Stafford still wins. That's all. I may be wrong. And if he doesn't get it, I think it's like, well, dang, that's my reaction. It's like, anyway, who we got? Like, it's, I don't know, man. So I would love to see him get it, but if he doesn't, my day's not going to be ruined by it. And I think too many people are going to have that. On the Cardinal side, they've been eliminated for a while. Do you remember when we were in the early part of the season talking about like, wow, all 4 teams in this division are crazy? And then it was like, yeah, but that's the Cardinals. Let's just wait a minute. And then they have 3 wins going into the final week of the season. They were supposed to be good. They weren't, turns out. But either way, I mean, this is still a team that I think that there's enough people fighting for jobs, fighting for careers and stuff like that, that you're still going to get some good action here. Let's take a look at the milestones in this one. We'll start with quarterback Matthew Stafford. 5 touchdown passes behind Jim Everett for second in Rams history. So could, in theory, tie that, beat that, potentially. We'll see. He did pass Big Ben for 6th most passing yards in NFL history this past week, which is rather sweet. Currently 1,723 behind Rodgers for 5th. And Rodgers is likely done after this season. Stafford, though, his future remains unclear. He needs 1 passing touchdown to tie Dan Marino for 7th most in NFL history. He is currently 6 behind Phillip Rivers, who is not going to play this weekend for the Indianapolis Colts. He needs 14 completions to tie Matt Ryan for 6th most in NFL history. And if Stafford keeps up on his current pace of 278 passing yards a game, he would end with 3rd most passing yards in a single season in Rams history. He currently holds the Rams record for most passing touchdowns in a single season with 42. He did beat that last week. The previous record held by 2021 Matthew Stafford and 1999 Kurt Warner at 41. So Matthew Stafford now holds that record. Sean McVay seeking his 100th win still. So happening at home against the Arizona Cardinals in a game that is virtually meaningless that feels so right. I don't know what it is, man. But 91 regular season, 8 playoff wins. Both are most in Rams history individually. So obviously 100 wins clearing that margin. Kyren Williams, at his current pace of 74.5 yards per game, would end with 13th most in Rams history in a single season. So a huge game. Could make him climb up those lists there. And Puka Nacua did pass Marshall Faulk for 12th most receiving yards in Rams history. He is currently tied with 1995 Isaac Bruce for 2nd most receptions in a single season in Rams history. He is currently 8th in targets, but would likely get to 5. All he needs is 9 more targets to get all the way to 5 from 8th, so that feels real. He needs 57 receiving yards to tie 2003 Torrey Holt for 3rd most in a single season in Rams history. And at his current pace, he would end in 3rd, just short of 1995 Isaac Bruce. 2021 Cooper Kupp is still a superhero and not going to be touched as far as his numbers go this year. I couldn't find any former Rams on the Arizona Cardinals, and I don't want to say that that's why they're terrible, but I mean, it checks out. Let's take a look at the matchup of this series here. So we'll start with the Rams offense going against that Cardinals defense. Rams, number 2 overall unit, putting up over 403 a game, while the Cardinals are 26th in total yards giving up almost 368 a game. Passing the football, second ranked unit for the Rams here, almost 270 a game, while the Cardinals give up almost 230 at 24th in the league. Rushing the ball, 8th ranked unit here for the Rams. That's pretty similar to last week, 125.6 and 125.9 the Cardinals give up. That's 28th. Average points being put up more than anybody in the league for the Rams, 30.1, while the Cardinals give up 28.2. That's 29th. And third down conversion rate, Rams get 38.1 of those. That's 21st in the league. And Cardinals give up 42, just tied for 25th in the NFL. So obviously the numbers that jump out to you there is that the Cardinals, their defense just isn't all over the place. They've got some really good players. I like Denzel Burke. Obviously, Calais Campbell's one of those legendary guys that's been around forever. Budda Baker's really good. Josh Sweat's incredibly talented. I personally think it's a coaching issue out there and a bit of a culture issue with the Arizona Cardinals, I would say. Just doesn't feel like they're ever in it to actually do some damage. Like, they start September hyped up, just like everybody does. Everybody enters, week 1 like, yo, could this be it? And then by December, we know for the Arizona Cardinals, it's not, while we're talking about who we're playing in January, So there's, obviously there. But for the Rams offense, obviously, it's been a couple of weeks where, if you look actually back, I don't know how long it goes back. The stat I heard watching a show, and I didn't write it or anything like that, but there's like a certain amount of time that you can look back, and Matthew Stafford's actually tied for most interceptions in that span, which is crazy to think about considering the year that he's had. But obviously what we want to see out of this week is just the Rams kind of settle into themselves a little bit. Devontae Adams going down actually turns out to be what feels like a bigger hit than we anticipated. Since he's been down, the Rams offense has been very, very different. And once we get to the red zone, it feels like we don't know what to do. So Devontae Adams coming back, that's going to be absolutely massive. Let's take a look at the opposing players to watch here. We're going to start with cornerback Denzel Burke. He does lead the Cardinals in interceptions, just with 3. He's got 11 passes defended on the year, though, which is absolutely incredible. And as a rookie, certainly a bit of a bright spot on the Cardinals roster, somebody that they will be able to develop and could turn into a really solid player, man. He's had a really good rookie year. Safety, Budda Baker is a Pro Bowler. Obviously, can still get it done. I think that overall his production has dropped, and I do think that Pro Bowl was based off of his name. But still, certainly a guy that can do some damage out of the secondary there. And also Calais Campbell, I wanted to put on this list here. So Josh Sweat has been on an absolute tear, but he also didn't practice to open the week. So I'm not sure if he's going to play in this game. But Calais Campbell, 39 years old. If he were to play into next season, he turns 40 on the 1st of September. So he would be 40 by the time the next year started. But second round pick in 2008 and still strong, man. He's still getting it done. So it's been kind of cool to see, man. That's somebody who's been around that long. He saw the Rams be literally the worst team in the league. And it's kind of nuts, man. But if this is his last game, then it makes sense that he'd want to go out with a bit of a bang, right? So he's likely a Hall of Famer. I'm not sure if go first ballot, but I feel like he gets in there eventually. But again, it would make sense that he would want to show up in his potential final NFL game. So keep an eye out for that. Best one-on-one, I'm going to go with Josh Sweat versus the Rams tackles. Of course, if Sweat plays, I don't know the in-depthness of his injury, but he didn't practice on Wednesday. But I think that ultimately we saw that A.J. Jackson is very critical to this Rams unit. And when he's playing well, that's good things for the Rams. And then on the other side, obviously Warren McClendon has done really good. But just, everything just needs to settle down right now. I think that's ultimately it too, is that you had, Warren McClendon now has Justin Dedich next to him, which not a bad player. He's a really solid depth piece for sure, but that's rough to have that. You know what I mean? Like, he's already trying to just settle into his own after taking over for the captain, Rob Havenstein, and then he's got a backup next to him. And then on the other side there, DJ Humphries, veteran, he has been really good in the past. I just think that he was, knocking off the rust and stuff like that in this game. If we do need to see him again, I hope that game was his this is okay. We're getting the motions back, But obviously, we would love to see AJ Jackson just be able to hang on and play the rest of the season. And it sounded like he was potentially ready to play this last week, but we held him out just being precautionary, so which makes perfect sense. But tough task for the tackles if Sweat is getting out there, man. And we'll go with the Rams 3 to C here. We'll start with quarterback Matthew Stafford. Obviously, last week was one of those weird ones, man. It just seemed to be a little bit out of it. Whenever you see Matthew Stafford grabbing his face mask and like pulling his helmet down, that's like, oh, this is going to be a bad day. Like, that just sucks. We had those with Goff like back in the day. It's like you knew at a certain point, it's like, oh, that's tough. And then Matthew Stafford, he's got this look in his eyes where it's like, oh, he's just not on today. It's weird, man. I don't know how to explain it. But obviously, potential for MVP if he comes in and just can throw a quick three that look incredible. He's doing no looks and stuff like that, and then gets pulled. I think that he's way back up there. I personally still think he makes it. I still think he gets it. What do I know though? Next up, we'll go with wide receiver Puka Nacua. This guy is a robot. He's absolutely insane. He's doing things that are unheard of right now, and another chance to get it done, man. So obviously, our biggest win here is going to be health. As many guys as we can get healthy for the playoffs, that's going to be the key number one. But Puka Nacua, just doing Puka Nacua things is always a possibility, and against this team, certainly a real possibility. And then next up, I'm going to go with tight end Terrence Ferguson. We are expecting Big Rig Higgs back here rather soon. But in the meantime, Terrence Ferguson, I feel like this could be the game where we actually see him get the bulk of the tight end reps as we go into the playoffs. And it's one of those things where we don't have a starting tight end right now, especially with Tyler Higbee out. So to get him in there and get him just a few more reps right as the playoffs are about to start, I think is critical and I think important. And I also think that he's basically looking like the best rookie tight end we've ever had. So gearing that up and kind of just like pushing him forward right as we get into second season, I think is going to be really important. And then obviously your key here for the Rams offense is just going to be smart, clean football. This is a team that you're blatantly better than. Show it. Show it. You're better than them. Go play like it. Beat them 45-17 earlier this year. Should be about the same, right? You would think so? You're better than this team. You're about 45-17 points better than this team. Like, that's about right. You know what I mean? So that's my key there is just smart, clean football. Matthew Stafford, don't make any of those throws that you're like, whoa, my guy, that was not the one, And I just feel like he got a little confident there. And that's the thing that I'm kind of seeing. It's like he was getting bailed out from a lot of throws, and that doesn't always happen. And that's when you see those interceptions like we saw last week. Flipping over to the other side, you're at the Cardinals offense going against that Rams defense. Cards on offense, fairly middle of the road here, putting up about 350 a game, and the Rams also about middle of the road, giving up about 345. Passing the ball, 232.3 for that Cardinals offense. Jacoby Brissett now, that's a top 7 unit actually. Well, the Rams are 17th in giving up yards, about 215. Rushing the football, 94 for the Cardinals. This is not where they make their money. That's 29th in the NFL. And the Rams give up about 113. That is 13th. And then average points being put up almost 21 for the Cardinals. That's tied for 22nd. And the Rams give up about 20.5. That is 8th in the league. And third down, 41.8. The Cardinals pick up. That's tied for 8th. And the Rams give up 36.3. That is 8th in the NFL. So obviously the numbers that jump out to you there. Cardinals can certainly pass the football, but they've got one really good quarterback and one okay one, I guess. The good one, I would say, is Brissett. I just think he's a more talented arm, brain, just quarterback overall than Kyler. That's just my opinion. But they've also got weapons as far as the who he's throwing to. Marvin Harrison's obviously very good. Michael Wilson's obviously very good. Trey McBride's obviously very good. So I think it makes sense that they can throw the ball. But for the Rams, I would say that coming into this game, it's one of those situations where you've got you're still missing Lake. I don't believe that he's going to be back this week, although his practice window did get opened as well as Tyler Higbee's. I'm not sure if that's somebody we're going to see. Although I would like to. I mean, if he's able to, I would like to kind of get that rust off before the playoffs start, which would be kind of nice. But they can certainly throw the ball. Defending the run, based off of last week, we'd like to see him do a good job of that. But I mean, if you take away that 93-yard run from Bijan, I mean, the Rams defense didn't do miserable against the run. We just saw, I think, too many missed tackles and too many times where Bijan was able to just get 7, 8, what felt like it should have been a 3 or 4 yard gain, and that whole pile moving. So that's what I would like to see myself, just making sure that we don't let a team like the Cardinals do that to us. But Jean is an unreal human being. For him to be able to do it, that makes sense. He's the kind of guy that does those things. So just don't let a team that shouldn't do that in the Arizona Cardinals do it to you. Some opposing players we're keeping our eyes on. We'll start with wide receiver Michael Wilson. Marvin Harrison has been banged up, but Michael Wilson has been a really solid weapon. I think he's really kind of settling into his own right now. And I don't know, we'll see kind of what his future looks like, and if he's still in Arizona. But in the first meeting, Wilson scored on the first and last touchdown of the day. He had 11 receptions for 142 yards and 2 touchdowns the last time we played. So certainly a guy that can get it done in a game where they got absolutely smoked, and he was still getting it done. But as the Rams head into the playoffs, we are going to face some really, really good wide receivers. So this is a good opportunity to get some confidence back for some of these corners. I'm looking at Kello Witherspoon, Darius Williams, Emmanuel Forbes Jr., if, depending on who plays. So obviously that's kind of like it's different every week kind of thing. But for like guys like Emmanuel Forbes, Kello Witherspoon, shutting down a guy like Michael Wilson, somebody you should be able to shut down, heading into a game where we probably have to play A.J. Brown. They're probably going to force him the football 20 times against our defense. It's a good chance to kind of just gain that confidence as we head into that game. Next up, quarterback Jacoby Brissett. It is pretty unfortunate that what could be Kyler's last year in Arizona, that he avoided playing the Rams. Come on, dude. Come on. What gives, Kyler? Come on, man. I want to play. Brissett has played well in Murray's absence, though. So there's, I think I think he's a better quarterback, but he's at 33 years old. It's definitely not a guarantee that he could be done playing. So he's still under contract for next season. So he may kind of get in that next rookie and kind of take him under his little Cardinal wing, but it's certainly possible that he's also often moving around to a new team. They could be making some changes at quarterback next year, but Jacoby Brissett, only 33. I mean, he's still got some years left if he would like to take it. And again, I think it would be the perfect situation for him to hang out for one more year, take on a new rookie, and kind of hang out with him while you spend your final year in the NFL in Arizona. But Brissett, he's absolutely killing it. And for a one game, to end the season, a last little resume game, I think that's kind of where we're at with them right now. Week 18 game previews are the hardest. I'm just going to throw it out there in the middle of this. What am I supposed to say about the Cardinals, dude? They're not even doing it. Whatever. Anyway, next up, we're going to tight end Trey McBride. McBride is actually tied with Puka Nacua for most receptions in the NFL right now, heading into the final week of the year. So obviously, we would love to see Puka just get way more than Trey this game. Well, McBride has been easily the most consistent piece of the Cardinals roster this season. And definitely a bright spot, that somebody you can tag as like we can build around this guy. We get another quarterback in. This is your guy kind of thing. So I think that Trey McBride is certainly somebody that they'll be able to build their next, the Gannon 2.0 version of the Cardinals. My best one-on-one here, I'm going to say Cam Curl versus Trey McBride, because with Quentin Lake still, potentially return. I don't think he is returning in this game, but either way, a good opportunity for Curl to still kind of wiggle into that role. He's tackling extremely well, so obviously having him in the right spots it does you well, because he can tackle so well. But I think that one more game of him getting some really good coverage reps can certainly help you before you head into the playoffs, and Captain Q coming back. On the Rams side here, 3 to C, we're going to start with outside linebacker Jared Verse, mainly here because I think that last week I saw some weird, I would say awkward angles, and then a few missed tackles. Obviously, he missed the tackle on the 93-yard touchdown run. Should have been a tackle for a loss, and all of a sudden it's a touchdown, stuff like that. And then there was another big play that was given up where Jared Verse just didn't seem to get the right angle on it. So I don't think that Verse has been playing bad. I just think that he's getting close, but not there yet. I'm kind of hoping that what we saw last year, when as soon as the playoffs started, the pass rush was just different. I'm hoping that we see that this year from the Rams. But Jared Verse, kind of in that weird spot right now where there's a lot of people that are like, oh, he's incredible. He's absolutely athletically insane. And then you have another group of people that it's like, yeah, he's just not getting it done though. His sacks are not there. He's missing tackles, like all that stuff. And then you get like cool little moments like that where he's peace signing the Falcons sideline. He's such a weird player to try to figure out, dude. Is he the best in the NFL or is he like just a dude? I'm more on the first part of that, but I understand that there is an argument for people to be like, is he that good? I get it, man. But I think that he is. I just think that he's in a weird little sophomore thing right now where he's just trying to really settle into himself. Last year, the league wasn't ready for him. This year, the league prepared for him. Now he's got to be like, okay, now this is where I fit into the league. I think that's what happens next. Next up here, we'll go with cornerback Emmanuel Forbes Jr. I just think another good test for him if Marvin Harrison is going to play in this game, which I think he is. And then you also, like I said, have Michael Wilson. Good opportunity just to gain some confidence before the playoffs start. Emmanuel Forbes is awesome. He's been an incredible corner this year. And I feel like his like defining moment of being a Rams starting corner has not happened yet. And I'm thinking to playoffs. I'm thinking of, what was that, 2019, was it? That was it after that? That Darius Williams had that pick six against the Seahawks. Like I'm thinking like a moment like that for Emmanuel Forbes at some point where we're like, okay, he's that guy. All right, So I'm kind of waiting on that. I don't think it'll happen this week, but I do think that we see that in the playoffs. But a good chance, like I said, to get some confidence rolling. And last up here, I'm gonna go with defensive lineman Kobe Turner. And the reason I'm putting him in here is because I feel like Kobe Turner has been the most consistent member of the Rams defense all season. Seems like Kobe Turner has not been making mistakes. It seems like no matter what he's doing, singing national anthems, being on, it's not American Idol, that singing show with the big gloopy thing, the singer show. What is that called? Doesn't matter. But stuff like that, it doesn't impact what he does on the football field. Like it seems like every single week he's still, whenever he's out there, he's just absolutely killing it. He's crushing everybody. He does such a good job. He's still, doing those and stuff. It's awesome to watch, man. So Kobe Turner, I'm putting him on this list because I think that he's been the most consistent player on the Rams defensive side the whole season. We haven't looked at any games where it's like, oh, Kobe's getting blown up, dude. Like he's had some plays where he's had like, oh, that was you got taken out of that one, but you're not going to win every rep. That's not possible. Aaron Donald didn't win every rep, so to hope that he does is unrealistic anyway. But he's had some just incredible moments this year, and hoping for some more this last week. But that's kind of what we're looking for in this game as the Rams hosting the Arizona Cardinals' final regular season game to play, but not our final game of the season as the Rams, of course, continuing on to second season, the playoffs, where everything is a little bit more intense, cuts a little sharper, throws a little harder, hits a little bit more just damaging. So everything cranks up a little bit in the playoffs, and that's what we're waiting for, and we're there. So, make sure you join us for on Friday morning on Tuna and the Sheriff. That's going to be on the First and Tuna podcast YouTube channel and the Rams Showcase Facebook page, 7 a.m. LA time. Actually, that might be different this week because we're off work. We're both off work, so I don't have to be up super early. So heads up, I don't know about what time yet, actually. But join us for that. We'll do our game preview. Then, of course, the final regular season pregame show with myself as I'll be taking off, heading to the bar to watch the game. So join me there. Enjoy the game this weekend. Rams taking on the Cardinals. Fox, Kenny Albert, one of my favorite commentators in the NFL right now. I just love that dude. I think he just does such a good job. Jonathan Vilma, I think, does well as well. And then Megan O'Leary on that call also. So that's on Fox 125 Pacific time again. So check it out there. And then playoff schedule will be coming out probably. Do we have a Monday night game? I don't think do they do Monday nights on? I don't think they do. So we should know the NFL schedule. Actually, I'm just going to confirm that. I don't think so. I don't think we do Monday nights on week 18. We shouldn't do Monday nights ever because that's the week. What are we doing? Yeah. So no Monday night football game. So we'll know the schedule by then. We'll be talking about on Tuna and the Sheriff for that stuff and getting into some playoff action, dude, where everything gets ramped up. Fired up about it, man. We got fan quesos. That's on the other side of this break. It is Ram Showcase. Welcome back in. This is Ram Showcase. My name's Sheriff Joe Baggs. We're getting into our fan quesos here. Just got to check a couple of spots, make sure I'm not going to miss any of them, and we'll get started here. So I know YouTube has a bunch of weird ones this week. It happens sometimes. I don't know what to tell you. Let's see. Where'd we go? Where'd we go? Did I not share it again? I don't think I shared it again, which means Edwin probably didn't see it again. Dang it. I gotta stop doing that. All right. Edwin, dude. My bad, man. I keep on screwing this up. But look for it on the Ram Showcase Facebook page, Edwin. Yeah. Let's see here. Okay, I'm just going to go down this list. Perfect. I'm going to end with Peyo's absurd question. That was at the bottom, so that's good. Oh, okay, let's go ahead and get started here. Rams house. Whose house? What is the first play that comes to your mind when I mention Rams versus Saints last year? Could be anything. Doesn't need to be a highlight play. Rams versus Saints last year. Rams versus Saints last year. I'm going to be completely honest. I have zero recollection of this game right now. I have nothing on this game. I can't picture our uniforms. I can't picture where it was. I've got nothing for you on this one, man. That's actually hilarious. You say Saints Rams last year, so 24. Yeah, I legitimately have nothing, man. Next question. Payo time. Happy New Year. Is it New Year's in Canada? Is that situation? You're at a New Year's Eve party and can select 3 Rams players to plan and attend your party. Who are you picking? Love the show. Love your show. Check out Payo time. To plan a party, Kobe Durant, number 1. Also, heads up, I'm not going to this party. I don't do a New Year's Eve party. New Year's Eve is the most hilarious holiday to me. It's the most like, who cares? Like that, I don't know, man. It's something. I would work today. I don't care about this holiday at all. Like there is nothing about this holiday where I'm like, ooh, it's the new year. I don't understand it. I don't understand why we get excited about it. I don't understand why we go out and party for it. I don't understand anything about it. My favorite thing used to be, and I don't even know if this is still a thing, that on New Year's Day, all day long on Comedy Central, they would just play Comedy Central's Presents. And it was like their hangover day thing. And it was just stand-up comedy the whole day. That was like my biggest thing. I've always loved that. And then I did the New Year's thing a couple years. I've done some stuff with like exes for New Year's and stuff like that, but it's like to me, I've never personally cared about New Year's and stuff like that. So first of all, I'm not going to this party. Second of all, Kobe Durant, give me Stetson Bennett. We know Stet can party. All right. And then that's a hilarious answer. Probably not good, but I stand by it. And then give me Rob Havenstein because we need an adult. We need to have a grown up in the building, somebody who can be like, guys, no. you know what I mean? Like when it would be it's so funny to me. Oh man. Yeah, something happens, somebody picks something up and you look over at Rob and he just gives you this like you're like, no, man, yeah, it's probably a good call. Anyway, I'd go to that party. Only if Big Rob's there. Because then I'm protected, Anyway, Muad'Dib. After that loss, I think we go from DEFCON 3 to DEFCON 4. It is getting bad. I can't relate to this, Muad'Dib. You're saying you DEFCON 3. I'm DEFCON 0, man. I'm not worried. I'm fine. Because, again, like I said earlier, it was like we lost 2 games off of a long break, which I think initially my brain was like, this is a good thing. I think it ended up being a bad thing. I think we had too much time off. So we lost 2 games by a total of 4 points. We almost came back on Atlanta. I think that you take away just like, there were some really big mistakes early in that game. And then again, that final drive, 4 huge plays taken away from us. So I would say I disagree with that. Seattle, I think losing by 1 point on the road in Seattle on a short week in weather in overtime is like, that's the most like, oh yeah, that happens. Like that's, I don't know, man. And maybe I'm alone here. Maybe I'm just rocking some California, some Southern California vibes right now. I'm just like chilling like, hey man, it's all good. Everything's fine, man. But I really do feel that way. So I disagree with you. I don't think we're on DEFCON, dude. Get your DEFCON out of here, man. Def convinced me to be scared right now because I'm not, dude. I don't know. So I don't know. This next one here come from Joe. Sweet name. Queso says, "Do you think our backup offensive line just don't get enough practice reps, or are they just booty, or both, or neither?" That's a good question, Joe. I think a little bit of both, a little bit of neither. So I think that like DJ Humphries hasn't really been getting reps, and when you're in season two, like most of the reps that these guys are getting, especially backups, is in training camp. When you get into regular season, the reps are there, but you're like you're repping with those guys. You know what I mean? Like starters are getting starters reps. So I think that there is that part of it where, I mean, if you don't anticipate guys going down, or you think that, or, people are staying healthy all year, then your backups are not getting those reps. And then I also think that there's that part that, like, I just don't think DJ was really ready to play. I think that Justin Dedich, I think that, getting tossed in the week before when Kevin Dotson went out versus the Seahawks, I think that was, I think he came in and played really well. But then in this game, I think he was a little bit more rough. I think Coleman Shelton had his worst game this last week. So I don't, and he's a starter. So I would say that they definitely don't get the reps that they should in practice. Or, I mean, I don't even want to say that, because they shouldn't. The starters should get those reps so that they're ready to play. And so, and then I just don't think DJ was really ready. Justin is a fine backup, but that's just what he is. He's a backup. If we had to have him start, then I think that's rough. But if we need him for a game and a half, okay, that's all right with me. Even if it looks kind of rough, it's like, well, he's a backup. He's not supposed to be as good as your starter. If your backup's better than your starter, then you have a mistake on your depth chart. So it's supposed to get worse when your starters are out. Warren McClendon being basically not a problem when Rob Havenstein went out was because Warren McClendon is our best backup offensive lineman across the board. Anybody else goes out, except for center, McClendon can slide into that spot, and he's probably going to be okay. He can play left tackle, play left guard, right guard. He's playing at right tackle right now. So that's why he looks okay, is because he is the guy he is our best backup. So there's that. But both and neither, to oddly answer your question. Moody, what are your Ram questions? I would like to know when. When, dude? Just when? When, Rams? How? How would be cool. How would be really cool. Where? I would really like to know where. and who would be cool. Who and where, I think, are very important questions right now. But ultimately, why? Why? Next question. Do you think the refs are upset with Puka's comments and are taking it out on the Rams? I want to say no, because that feels ridiculous, right? It feels ridiculous, right? Am I going crazy there? That if that was true, if that came out to be true, it'd be like, oh, that's possible. That can happen. That's a thing. But you know what? The more that onions get peeled back in things like government and in sports, it's like, oh, maybe. That's the scary part. Is it like, I hope not, but maybe. Like, I would think not, but maybe. That's where my brain's at right now. So do I think that they're upset with the comments? I don't know. I try to put myself in their shoes of, like, if I was a ref and some player was like, they just make up calls to get more TV time, I'd be like, all right, whatever. I don't care. Like, so from that standpoint, but I also understand that it takes so much to ruffle my feathers. You know what I mean? Like, people can say whatever they want. I'm just like, all right, yeah, that guy's a jerk. Whatever. Don't listen to that guy. I'm not friends with that guy. Why would I listen to him? I don't know him. That guy's only watched my YouTube content. I've never even shook his hand. I don't care what he has to say to me. Like, who cares? So I understand that's my own thing. But I would also like to think that these people are professional enough that would not. They'd be like, all right, he thinks that we call too many penalties. We're just going to keep doing our job. I will say, based on the timing of his comments, based on having a bunch of bad calls against us, it does raise some eyebrows. Eyebrows are higher elevation because of this these last few weeks, for sure. Porter, how was that blocked field goal by Verse? I will say, keep that special teams coach for next year. Very much an individual effort by Jared Verse. I don't think it has anything to do with Katwika, but it was awesome. I think it was just a great effort by him. Also, I will say it was terrible blocking on the part of the Falcons there. They pretty much let him go through, man. So that was pretty rough. I mean, he had his whole body in front of the kicker like that, dude. Like that's what are you supposed to do, man? So, but I don't think that was, and it could have been. You're technically you could be nailing it here. That could be like a direct result of like Katwika being like, do this. This is going to be open here. Block it. Give him one of these, you know? I don't know. But I would guess it was probably not the case. But I mean, I don't dislike what Katwika's doing. I think he's so far so good, I guess, is my point there. But again, the inner workings of it are not something that we know. And I think that ultimately my answer to that is I trust the front office and the rest of the coaching staff to make the right decision at that position going into 26. Thoughts on nicknames? Sorry, I got crazy heartburn right now. I feel like my face is making all kinds of weird stuff. I feel like my chest is I'm gonna, I don't know what's gonna happen. Thoughts on nicknames? This is from Payo time. Kyram and Koram. I feel like a lot of people say that. I don't love it. And then it says also singing Kaiko rushing the Rams go Kaiko. Kaiko rushing the Rams go Kaiko. What tune is this to? What song is this? Am I supposed to just make one up? I don't understand. Kaiko rushing the Rams go Kaiko. I have zero clue what tune this is to. You've confused me, Payo. I don't love the Kyram and Koram. I'll be honest. I think I don't know. Because that's a first name and last name. So I think that's why I don't like it, is because we're like taking first name here, last name here. I don't know. It's a hard one, man. Nicknames for those two is very difficult. If anybody else has any other ideas, let me know. I just call it's just K-Dub and Blake, man. I don't know. That's how K-Dub and Balake. Rams House with the next few here. It says, if there were a play to sum up this season for the Rams, what play would that be? Also, since we did this on Tuna and the Sheriff last Friday, what would you say is a word to describe the identity of this Rams team? Very good. Let me see here. So if I had a play to sum up the Rams season, what would that be? I can't answer that yet. We're going into week 18. Because it depends, man. Because this could depend on if it's like a Devontae fade touchdown because like we're working all the way down, or if it's like a Puka Nacua 47-yard touchdown run on 4th down kind of thing. I need to wait till the season's over to be able to define it with a play. But your next question here says, since we did this on Tuna and the Sheriff last Friday, what would you say is a word to describe the identity of this Rams team? I would say stubborn, but in like a positive way. It seems like this team is like even getting, going down to the Falcons and then just kind of like stubbornly being like, no, we're just not, it was going to be at least a close game if you're going to beat us kind of thing. I don't know, man. That's stubborn. I would say resilient is one. Thick-skinned. I think that's hyphenated, so I think that counts. Just because it just feels like a lot of this team doesn't let what other people are saying about even the fan base. I feel like the fan base is the harshest unit towards this team right now. I think that our own fan base is harsher on this team than the media. I think it's harsher than the national media. I think it's harsher than other fan bases. I think other fan bases are like, yeah, Rams are very good. They're killing it. It's like, yeah, they've lost a few, but they can beat anybody. And Rams fans are like, we're done. It's over. It's like, wait a second. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Next one here from Rams House. I didn't answer those fully, but we're moving on. Aside from health and the Rams beating themselves, what do you think is the biggest concern for this Rams team as we head into the postseason? I would say experience at certain levels, especially the defensive side. The experience of just being able to close it out and just finish off a game. This year specifically, that seems to have been like I've been talking about it all season. Of like, yeah, but at least we're losing close games. But now we're at the point where it's like, okay, yeah, we're losing a lot of these close games, though, guys. It's like maybe pull out a couple of these at the last second, Like it feels like that kind of stopped. So I would say that is my biggest concern is if we're in a tight game in the playoffs, I don't know how confident I am that we'll close it out and win. So personally, I think I would say that's over health, and that's kind of tied in with the Rams beating themselves. But I would say that's more than health. That I just don't know how much I trust that if we're in a situation in Philadelphia in 2 weeks where we're down 5 and need a drive to go down, that I feel like I trust that Matthew Stafford will put the ball in the right place. But it's like I just feel like that's I don't know. That's it. That's where my. But I also feel like we'll be a different team in the playoffs. I feel like you'll be able to take the snapshot of any playoff games we play, take and compare that to the regular season and be like, oh, that was they really turned up though. Like I do believe that. Favorite Todd Gurley moment. You're welcome here for not doing the most obscure Rams player from St. Louis era. Thank you. I'm like so in playoff mode right now that it's so hard for my brain to just like, oh, remember this random dude from 2012? I'm like, no. My brain is still like, okay, if we go to Philadelphia, we got to do like that's like so. I'm like so lasered in on that like whenever you drop these in, and you're like, what do you think Daniel Fells is doing? It's like, dude, I have no idea, man. That's so funny. Matthew Mulligan, if he were a fighter pilot, it's like, dude, what? Like, that's so funny. But yeah, thank you. My favorite Todd Gurley moment, I think that when we were playing the Washington at the time Redskins, and he had a hurdle against them that was like that was one of those, And then he had a touchdown against the Browns where he kind of like reached for the pylon real hard. That was a crazy one. The hurdles, man, the Todd Gurley hurdles, those were riveting, dude. I love to watch that. Dude, that's so fun. But I would say, as far as Todd Gurley moments go, I kind of talk about this one. I feel like I say this every time that somebody asks me what my top Gurley stuff is that run at the Edward Jones Dome against the San Francisco 49ers. I want to say it was 53 yards, untouched to the end zone, just right up the middle and just gone, dude. 30 in a cloud of dust, bro. That was awesome. Good stuff. I said, if Fergie were a candy, what candy would he be? By the way, flawless answer for BY last week being a 0 bar. Thank you, dude. I was so proud of that. Up there with Dippin' Dotsons for best answers to this question. Dippin' Dotsons. That's such a good one. And 0 for BY. Yeah, absolutely incredible, man. Okay, if Terrence Ferguson was a candy, what would he be? I feel like he would be something crunchy. I don't know why that makes perfect sense. Something crunchy, but not like a Butterfinger. Something less annoying to eat. What crunches real hard? Hold on. I feel like my brain is just going to rock candy, but specifically just chomping it. But I'm also thinking of some kind of cracker or something that like easy. Of just like something that is sticking with rock candy. We have to move on. Do you feel like our pass rush is taking? Do you feel like our pass rush is taking a step down from last year or this year's expectations too high? Feel like we've been saying the Rams defensive line game is coming for a while now, and we're still waiting. I know they have the talent in them. I was confused by the drop off. By drop off, I don't mean they're bad. I just think that there's a lot of meat left on the bone, and I'm not sure why. I do tend to agree, but I also will say that I think it happens in the playoffs, just like it did last year. The Rams were doing fine on defense, getting after the passer and stuff like that all year, but when the playoffs started, they turned it on, man. In fact, when we played in 2 playoff games last year, tied for 4th most sacks in a playoff run ever. They went after it. So I think that's going to be the case in this one. Obviously, when you play a team like Philadelphia, you may not be able to destroy the quarterback as many times as you want, but it worked last year in the snow. So, and it feels like they'll come in a little bit more pass heavy this year because it seems like everybody just knows they like to run the ball, so everybody stuffs that. So I would still say I think it is on the way still. But I think it's going to be, I don't know. You're right, though. I mean, it definitely feels like it's not as intense. But also, I mean, I feel like when you go into a game against the Rams, it's like, yeah, 4 guys are coming and they're really, really good. So if you can double one of those guys and then chip another, you're probably okay. You know what I mean? And so I want to see more blitzing, especially when the playoffs start. And then Peo's last question here is the match queso game. We need a theme song for this sometime. The match queso game from the following Ram. I'm going to screenshot this and put it up for you, by the way, so you guys can try to play along. So from the following Rams related person match. Okay, my brain is falling apart. Cannot pick the same person twice or more. Okay, so the people are Tuna, Sean McVay, JB Long, Jared Verse, a Rams cheerleader, Rampage, Jimmy G, Terrence Ferguson. The activities are a week-long fishing trip. Okay. A cruise on the West Coast, round trip from LA. All right. Volunteer at a children's hospital, an hour-long video on my channel, Peo's channel. Pull a harmless prank on the 49ers training camp that gets national media attention. Give it a headline. Okay. Goes to a rock concert with you of your choice. Interesting. And plant a tree with outside of SoFi, and then clean Les Snead's office. This is the weirdest one I've ever gotten. Feels reasonable with it being this time of the year, though. It's the first, and we're doing it. All right, so Tuna, Sean McVay, JB Long, Jared Verse, Rams cheerleader, Rampage, Jimmy G, Terrence Ferguson. I'm going to start with activities. So a week-long fishing trip. I think, give me JB for this one. I think I would like to do JB with this one. A fishing trip that's a very personal bro trip, you know? And I feel like I would just pick the brain a little bit. So JB Long. A cruise on the West Coast round trip from LA. I would say Rams cheerleader. Heck yeah, dude. Let's go. It's probably going to be my wife. Let's do it. Let's see. Volunteer at a children's hospital. Give me Rampage all day. I think that's easy money, dude. Going to a children's hospital. I would not be the attraction there. I know that. I mean, obviously, if you're a Rampage, you're not the attraction anyway, but that would be ideal for sure. An hour-long video on your channel. Give me Tuna. I feel like besides the cursing, it would not at least change the content of your channel very much. I myself am not a person. I mean, I do in the wild, but not on podcasts and shows and stuff. I keep that, I keep that under wraps. I say things like butt cheeks and friggin' and stuff. But that would be the only difference there. But Tuna, I would say, for an hour long there. Pull a harmless prank on the 49ers training camp that gets national media attention and give it a headline. First of all, can I change this to pulling a harmful prank on the 49ers? Headline, tragedy in Santa Clara. And for this one, give me Jared Verse. Because then I at least got plausible deniability if I have a maniac in Jared Verse with me who's, who's creating a headline, tragedy in Santa Clara. I like it. I like that I also don't have to pick a prank there. Go to a rock concert of your choice. Huh. I feel like, is Terrence Ferguson a rocker? I don't know, man. I don't think any of these guys are, but I'm a big metalhead myself. Terrence Ferguson, you're coming to see Parkway Drive with Sheriff Joe Bags. Well done. Heck yeah. Plant a tree with outside of SoFi. So I'm down to just Jimmy G and Sean McVay. Just give me Jimmy, I guess. I don't really have a reason for that. I just give me Jimmy. And then clean Les Snead's office. I guess we'll just go Sean because, I'm out of people, and he'd probably know how Les's office normally looks, I guess. That's the weirdest one I've gotten yet so far, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate anybody who dropped those fan quesos. Thanks for hanging out. Rams wrapping up the regular season this weekend as the Cardinals coming to town take on the Rams at SoFi Stadium. This game, again, 1:25 p.m. kickoff time on Fox. So check it out there. And then next week, we'll be diving into playoff action. So we may change a few things, the inner workings of how things are going to get done and what we're talking about. We'll get into like ref matchups and stuff like that. So come hang out with us for that. It's going to be an absolutely awesome time. Rams, though, are in the playoffs. We know that much. Let's see who we're going to be facing. We'll talk about it, of course, on Monday on Tuna and the Sheriff. It's either going to be in Philadelphia or in Chicago for the Los Angeles Rams. Or actually, that's not totally true. It could be in Chicago, in Philadelphia, in Carolina, or in Tampa Bay. So we still got a few different options here. We'll see what we'll be doing. But of course, like I said, full game preview will be in your life next week. So come join me for that as playoff action will begin. Just one last step to get through before we get to that. With the Arizona Cardinals. Probably be doing some regular season awards here as well soon, so keep your eyeballs peeled for that, and we'll get you rolling. Make sure you follow along on socials at Sheriff Joe Bags, at Ram Showcase, and ramshowcase.com. Make sure to check me out live 3 times a week, 7 a.m. LA time on the Tuna and the Sheriff First and Tuna Podcast YouTube channel, as well as the Ram Showcase Facebook page. But that is going to do it for me. I am Sheriff Joe Bags. This has been Ram Showcase on Sports War Radio and the Fansided Network. For those of you who are Rams fans, I messed it up. For those of you who aren't Rams fans, our thoughts and prayers are with you. For those of you who are Rams fans, thank you so much for watching, and go Rams.